Hello, I'm Eldon Joines, and today is March the 6th, 2023. And today I'm starting on the crest of the Blue Ridge Parkway at Airbellows Gap. And the reason I wanted to start here is from this location, I can show you where the Joines cemeteries were located in the first video that we did in the community of Absher. And I can also show you off in the distance where we're going to go to today, which is on the other side of the Yadkin Valley, across Wilkes County on the Brushy Mountains, where Ezekiel owned property and where his descendants are buried in another old cemetery over there. So follow along with us today as we make this journey. This is the Blue Ridge Parkway, and if we follow out the road just a few steps and look to the north and to the west, we're looking over Alleghany County and up in the higher mountains. And if we walk back to the south and look over to the south, we're looking over the Yadkin Valley and across Wilkes County. I'm going to go from over here to an overlook where I can show you from there where the old Joines cemeteries are located in the community of Abshers, and I can also show you Poor's Knob. The community of Abshers is located right over this little hill right here, this first ridge. But then if you look off in the very far distance, and I'm going to zoom in as far as I can, and there's a knob that's right in the center, right in the center of the video, and that's where we're going to go, and that's Poor's Knob. We're going to go very close to that on the other side of the Yadkin Valley, on the other side of Wilkes County, and those are the Brushy Mountains in the on the distant horizon over there. Ezekiel owned the land in Abshers, and the old Joines cemeteries that we visited there in the last video in Abshers, just on the other side of this first ridge. And then later in the 1780s, he purchased land on the other side of Wilkes County, in the south side of Wilkes County, and moved there. And that's where we're going to visit. We're going to head that way here. First, we'll go to the land that Ezekiel owned on the other side of Wilkesboro, and then we'll visit the cemetery that's near Poor's Knob. house at 421, just south of Wilkes. We've turned on Highway 18 now. We're going to go to Cub Creek Church, go to the back of the cemetery. They have a little prayer garden or mausoleum or something. And from there, you can see most of Ezekiel's land. Well, I'll show it when we get down here. So there's a Joines right up there. Right there. Let's see. I'll go any closer. I'm standing at the back of the Cub Creek Church Cemetery, and I'm gonna swing around and you can see Highway 16 that runs through the property. All right, that's Highway 16, and up in that direction is the mobile home park and the convenience store that's located on Ezekiel's land now. And there is a very old white oak tree, and you have to wonder how old that tree is, and might it have been here when Ezekiel owned the land. And then if you come on down, you can see on the other side of the road there is Cub Creek, and there are some homes, a couple homes down there now. And then a very old farmhouse also. A man named Charles Walker got a land grant for this land in the 1780s. And then Ezekiel purchased the land from Charles Walker, I believe it was about 1787. Might have been 1789, I'll check and see. But he owned the land, Ezekiel owned the land until just before he died. In 1803, in July of 1803, he deeded what remained of his land here to his son Edmund Joines. And then Ezekiel's will was presented in court in Wilkes County in August of 1803. So Ezekiel died in either July or August of 1803. And we don't know if he's buried anywhere here. His land does border Cub Creek Church, but there aren't any old cemeteries here at Cub Creek Church that far back. So we don't know if he's buried on this property here. I hope to make contact with the current landowners and see if I can get permission to explore the land a little bit, see if I can find any old graves. But we may never know. But this is Again, this is the land that Ezekiel owned. It's very easy to get to because Highway 16 runs right through it. Then I'm gonna swing around a little bit more, and that right there is Poor's Knob. We saw Poor's Knob from the Blue Ridge Parkway when we looked across the Yadkin Valley and across Wilkes County. And so we're gonna go there now. There's an old cemetery there where descendants of Ezekiel's son Edmund Joines are buried. I don't believe Ezekiel's buried there, but we're gonna travel over there, and it's a remote, a cemetery in a remote location, but it's fun to visit. So come along with me as we travel over there now. Highway 16 south. We're going to turn right up here on the Brocktown Road. And we're going to travel Brocktown Road ways. Right down here is Cub Creek. We're going to cross Cub Creek, and the cemetery we're going to is on Cub Creek, but it's more on the headwaters. And this is Cub Creek. All right, we've traveled Brocktown Road, and now we're going to turn to the left on East Meadows Road. And it's a small road that dead ends. Drive down to where it crosses Cub Creek, and there's a private drive there that I usually just park there. This is all private property up in here, and so you need to be aware and be respectful of the property owners. Down here is the bridge that crosses Cub Creek, and right before we get to the bridge, we're going to turn up this little drive right here. Again, it's a private drive, and I've always just driven up here and parked on the side of the road. I tried to get out of the way in case somebody comes by. The cemetery is located on the side of this private drive just across this little field right here. And again, this is all private property. And we do have, even though the cemetery is deeded, we do have to cross private property right here for just 100 yards or so. But again, just be mindful if you come up here and neighbors want to know what you're doing, that you're visiting the Joines Cemetery. So I'm going to walk across the field. Just come with me. All right, we're going to enter the woods right here. And I believe that Edmund's son, John Wesley Joines, who they called Jackie Joines, acquired this land by the mid-1800s. And Jackie is buried here. I'll show you his grave up here in a few minutes. Here's a survey marker for what I believe is one of the corners. And it's sort of hard to find at first. If you didn't know there was a cemetery up here, you could walk right past it. And it may be easier to get to it by going a little further on up in the meadow before you come into the woods. But I know where it's at. You can see the flowers. Somebody's decorated some of the graves. There's several graves here. For many years, I believe that Ezekiel was buried here. And I believed that this was the land that he had acquired in the 1700s. But as it turns out, we learned that this is not the land that Ezekiel owned in the 1700s. And most likely, the first to own this land was Jackie Joines. And he's buried here, and I believe his descendants and his relatives are buried here, even though it's only a few miles from the land that Ezekiel owned. And the way we found out where Ezekiel's land was is Jason Duncan has been mapping the land grants of Wilkes County. And he discovered from his mapping exactly where Charles Walker's grant was, and that was the land that Ezekiel purchased. And so we've determined exactly where Ezekiel's land was. And then we've also determined that this land didn't belong to the Joineses until sometime later. So I'm going to show you what I believe is John Wesley Joines, or Jackie Joines' grave. And it's sort of hard to make out, but I think I can do it. There's a stone right over here. And for some time I came up here and I would look at it from the wrong side of the stone and could not see the markings. I could not see the markings. So if you come around to this side of the stone and you look, and you can see JWJ. And I believe this is John Wesley Joines, or Jackie Joines. a grandson of Ezekiel's. There are a few other stones with some marks. They're very, very difficult to make out. But there are a couple that are well marked. And the reason is that they're fairly recent burials. This is John E. Joines, who was known also as Frail Joines, and his wife Blanche. And there was a movie made about Frail Joines called Being a Joines. And it's a movie that I consider to be a family jewel for the Joines family. Frail Joines in that movie, his look, his mannerisms, his wit, all remind me of so many Joines men that I've met. And I just think that film is a true treasure. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's online. You can do a search for Being a Joines. And as you can tell from the video, this cemetery sits in the middle of a forest. And it's very difficult to determine how many are buried here. There may be stones hidden amongst the trees or that have fallen over that we just can't locate. But we do know that right here are a dozen or so. We are very close to Frail and Blanche's home place, just up the road. And it's a good time of year to visit there. I want to see if the trees are blooming around their house. So while we're here, we're going to ride on up there and take a quick look.